Welcome to Corey Turner Talks Real Estate. And today's episode is I went to jail without a buyer's rep. Just wait. All right, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have a great real estate story or you've seen a great real estate story, be sure to email me at corey@coreyturnertalks.com. I might just put it on the channel. Okay, on with today's story. Margaret, we're going to change some names to protect everybody, but Margaret was super excited. She had been working the phones at the office a few days before, and someone had called in about a property, and it had already sold, but she started talking to them, found out what they wanted in a house, and she got some information to them, sent it to them, and they were really excited about it, so they scheduled to go look at those houses a few days later. Now, Margaret was super excited because the people were looking for a house in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, and that was a big step up for Margaret, and they needed to buy right away. They were moving to the area, so Margaret could not be more thrilled. So the clients showed up to the office and they sat down in a conference room. She went over the MLS reports with them. She showed them all the properties, and there was three on there that they actually really liked. One of them they super loved, but a couple of others that they wanted to see too. So Margaret was super excited. Now she's decided, you know what we're gonna do? She didn't tell them this, but we'll see the other two first, then we'll go see the one that they love. So they headed off, they all got into Margaret's car, they headed off to the first listing, and it went okay. The house was super nice, but it didn't quite meet what they were needing. They got to the second house, everything seemed okay. That one wasn't even on the radar at all. It was missing some of the features, which now Margaret was getting super excited because she knew the third house was going to check off all these boxes. So she was super excited that this was going to be the one. So they got in the car and they're driving on a little kind of winding back road, lots of trees. She came around a corner a little bit too fast. And as she went through, she's like, uh-oh. And the client's like, what's the matter? She goes, oh, I think I just ran that stop sign. I'm pretty sure there was a stop sign right there. They're like, oh, okay, well, it worked out okay. So she's driving, and all of a sudden in her rearview mirror here are police lights. Lights are flashing. She's like, oh my goodness, I got pulled over. And they're like, oh no. So she pulls over to the side of the road. The policeman walks up and he's like, hello, and I see your driver's license, insurance, title, all that kind of great stuff. So she gets that registration. She gets all that information. She gives it to them, gives it to the police officer. The police officer walks back to the car. She's like, well, darn it, this is pretty embarrassing. They're like, it's okay. They go ahead and start looking at the MLS report for that third house, and they're getting super excited about this house. This house has everything. This is the magic house, and she knows they are going to love it. So the police officer walks back up and is like, Margaret, can I have you step out of the car for a moment? She's like, oh, is everything okay? He goes, please step out of the car. And she looks at the clients. Of course, the clients are a little bit freaked out too, like what's going on? So she gets out. She's thinking maybe I'll have a tail light out or something like that. She walks to the back of the car, and the police officer informs her that, guess what? Over the past few days, we are having a super party. The party is called a warrant roundup. And you're invited to the party, Margaret, because she had some unpaid speeding tickets and some parking fines. She hadn't taken care of those. And the policeman informed her that she's under arrest and read her rights. Of course, she's freaking out. She's not remaining quiet. She goes, I have my clients right there. They don't even know this area very well. And I've got to get them back to my office and drop them off. Is there anything we can do? He's like, no, I'm sorry. So he puts her back in the back of the police car. He informs the people that they're going to have to find their way back. Of course, the keys are in the car, so they're okay. That way, you're going to have to find your way back to wherever you met Margaret and take care of yourselves from there. Of course, Margaret is freaking out. She goes, she gets booked, she's in jail. When she finally gets everything taken care of, paid everything off, of course, she's looking at her phone. She's got a million messages from the client. Where do you want us to leave the keys? There's no one at your office. Hello, what's happening? What's going on? Her broker's blowing her up like, what is happening? Apparently you got arrested. And so she finally talks to the broker, gets all that worked out, and he's like, well, okay. That's bad. You got to take care of your stuff. So she's calling the buyer. They are not responding. They're not returning phone calls. The magic house sells, and she's pretty sure it was them. And unfortunately, they're not returning the calls. And she figures, I didn't take care of my own stuff. Why would they think I would be able to take care of theirs? And unfortunately, when Margaret sat down with them on that very first, moment, showing them MLS reports, she did not have them sign a buyer's agreement. So it was probably going to be sticky anyway after the whole police situation and her getting arrested. But, a buyer's agreement, that would have helped her at least have some footing there. But she didn't get that signed, so she lost out on that, learned a very valuable lesson. Moral of the story is always get your buyer's rep signed, right? Oh, poor Margaret. All right, if you have a great real estate story, be sure to share it with me at coreyturnertalks.com. Remember to subscribe to the channel so we can show you more stories. And let's talk about real estate tomorrow.